like to begin by asking each of you to raise your hand and point at me with your finger. I'd like to ask you one more question. Keep your hand up. How many fingers pointing at me? Look at your hand.
One.
How many? And how many is pointing back at yourself?
3, 4.
My friends, we have a very simple approach. We become so incarcerated. We're trying to find different ways to do different things. And the answer is very simple. Practice the principles that brought this nation to be. Not a few blocks from here. I contend that the great Creator brought into being this nation. I salute, yes indeed, Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin and Alexander Hamilton, George Washington, great men, but with stenographers. They were taking dictation. Why do I say that? Because when you look at the Declaration of Independence, what does it say? No argument, no debate, no discussion. We hold these truths to be what? Self-evident. That all men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. And as they signed that declaration, 90% of them owned slaves. And when they went back and read what they had written, this question here, so wait a minute here, we made a mistake. These other folks, they are profiting. But when they had to go back and rationalize of the reality, thanks be to the great Creator, many of them gave their lives trying to make it so. And that's why Dr. King said it best when he said, America, do nothing new but live up to what you got on paper.
Amen.
Our contention is, and that's what this agreement is all about. Let's don't talk something. Do what you know. Live up what you got on paper.
That's right.
Justice is written in those two documents. And in those two documents, and they are foundation on, and hear me out, don't get up tight with me, hear me out. They are foundation on the Ten Commandments.
Exactly.
The Ten Commandments is foundation on one principle. Let's take a look. And we've got a number of lawyers sitting before me. Let's take a look at it. Summary was given on those Ten Commandments. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all your strength. God is referenced by 104 different names, but the same Creator. By whatever name, Allah, Jehovah, whatever you want to call it. But He still is the Creator of all mankind. And the second bullet point on the Ten Commandments, which are 6, show our relationship to our fellow man. Love your neighbor as yourself. Do unto others as you wish to be done. So therefore, he said, throw away those 2 tables of stone. Just live out the principle of love. And on that basis, don't you see, it was the Creator that gave the inspiration and gave the dictation to those men who were writing those principles down as far as the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence is concerned. Study, what I say, your name again?
Leon.
Mr. Leon, what I say is that you do away with it because we become so enslaved with I, me, myself, and I, and everybody else is wrong, and you got to do it my way. Unfortunately, we want to pull the blinders off. That's what Mrs. Grinage is doing here. Pull the blinders off and see where we really are, and do simply one simple thing. Look, with all your heart, your neighbor as yourself. And as a result, my good friend, when we accomplish that, the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution will be lived by.
Right.
How can you, how in the world are you going to say to a family like this young man that was sitting up before us, you know, take away his kids from him? Why do you do that? Because I'm going to take care of myself. When I do that, the record show that I'm getting something on the table back over on folks that I'm making everybody else pay for it. Huh? Justice has become injustice. That's why the justice system is in disarray and bankrupt. And I say this to you lawyers, and I know you want to condemn me for saying it, or that's a fact. But again, point at me with your hand, point at me. What are you doing to make a difference? What are you doing? Mr. Ostrowski has decided he's going to do something. Because what does the Constitution say? Very clearly, not the Democratic Party, not the Republican Party. Oh yeah, Lincoln and Cleveland. Not the Liberal Party, not the Tea Party. You read the first lines in our Constitution, and what does it say? The first, we, who? In order to perfect a more perfect union. Mr. Obama and the Congress, forget the King's English, ain't the government. The governor and the state legislature, they're not the government. They are, forget the King's English again. They ain't the government. We are the government.
Right.
So when we get up and say, the government ain't doing right and they ain't doing that, we're talking about ourselves.
Amen. Wow. That's right.
Yeah, we know when we're ourselves.
That is it, buddy.
That's
So
right.
my better brother. And so what Mr. Grinage has been doing is doing one thing. Very simple. And this young man that sat before is doing one simple thing. What is she doing? Where are we now? In the darkness. Now we can what? Ah. And now we can see how to get out of here. We see the seat to your Bethany. So what she is attempting to do, what this young man is attempting to do, what others are attempting to do, is to make a difference. I have the privilege to go to Atlanta, Georgia on a invitation and really a command from the man up there, and an invitation from his servant down here. I was born in red in a foreign country. That foreign country was Mississippi.
Oh.
And as a result of that, Harding Carter III, a young man living in the Delta, his family, a few miles from where my family lived, we determined to put together the Young Democratic Clubs of Mississippi and supported the Freedom Democrat. Because we thought we had the magic to make it work. And this was a way to carry on the battle. And as we got into that struggle, the light had to be turned on. Forget the King's English. Ain't no party, ain't no one organization. Forget the King's English. Ain't no one person or group. It's all of us.
That's right.
Working
That's right.
for that common bond
Yes, sir.
of what principle I said? One principle? Love. But we show that. We're sitting up here, all of us. And on our way out of here tonight, we're going to stop somewhere and get something to eat. And we're going to find a place to lay our head. Love thy neighbor as thyself. What are we doing with the folks out there on the street? Both hungry and without residence. If I love my neighbor as myself, I'm going to eat. I'm going to sleep. But my friend, we have a young man that just joined us, that came in. And he has become a hammer, trying to break that big ball and that reality that exists. I'm going to ask you a question, and I'll go to my seat. Is the government doing too much or too little in our life?
Too much.
Too much, okay?
A little bit of both.
All right? All right? What you said, little young lady? I see your head going up.
I say both.
All
Too
right?
much of the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little, little.
All right.
A lot of both. A lot of both.
Now, I'm going to go over here
You're doing too
and
many what's right.
get close to this door so I can escape out of here. All of you were wrong. Because you are the government.
That's right. That's really right.
You see? And what is the principle under which we, unfortunately, is in the prison house? And don't throw your chair at me. You have just proven that you are a victim
Yeah.
of a philosophy that Adolf Hitler had.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes,
I'm ducking. What did Mr. Hitler say? Control the media and the press, you control the people.
And if you tell a lie long enough,
And how are you going to be telling it? Through the press and the media.
yes, sir.
That's why I'm a newspaper. I went on TV. I did this, and they said nothing so.
That's right.
Don't you see?
That's right.
When, and I'm being a little redundant, we go back to the Constitution.
That's right.
I contend that the Declaration of Independence is the foundation on which we stand.
Yes, sir.
What floor are we on?
I believe that.
In this building, what floor are we up to?
10.
On the 10th floor. And you sitting up here very comfortable. You ain't worried about right now the building going to crumble beneath your feet.
Got a foundation.
Ah! There you go. Therefore, my brothers and sisters and fellow Americans, that time, past time, has come
Yes, sir.
to do what needs to be done.
Yes, sir.
When I asked Dr. King to come to Memphis, and why was I in Memphis with those sanitation working? I was working with an organization known as AFSCME, the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, representing public employees. But I had escaped from that prison house in Mississippi. I was in Washington and was serving as a special assistant to the president of that international union. Those 1,300 men understood that principle. It is time, past time,
Yes, sir.
for us to be recognized
Fact.
as human beings. And what triggered that? The truth.